Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I'm going to be running some emerging conduits in the Galente border zone, or near the forge at least, in a system called Amplifier. Something I wanted to discuss today was how I got scammed in EVE Online. This is a story that still has affected me a lot. On actually, it made at first this was really like a really like kind of not painful but really like disheartening experience. But it also taught me a lot of lessons in how harsh EVE is and how you have to look out for and be careful with how you part ways with your money or assets in EVE Online. So what happened is this is now back in 2017, so I was pretty new then. Basically this was just like a month or so after I made this character, and I had not much experience of being a corpse. Obviously I'm a noob who's going to be susceptible to more of these, potential scams, since I'm not really sure how they work. So what happened was, I just wanted to join a corp, and there was this channel where it's like recruitment channel where you just post, oh hey, I want to join a corp for this and this, and and people recommend their corps. What happened was that there was some guy who messaged me after just looking for a corp, and he didn't chat directly in the channel. He conveniently did a PM so that no one else can intervene, and he said that, oh, you want to join Goon Swarm Federation? And I was like, yeah, that's because I don't particularly like goons because of what I'll tell you in a bit. But this guy was in Goon Swarm, which is, for you guys who do not know, who are probably noobs, that is like one of the biggest alliances in the game right now. And this guy then was a member of it, and was like, oh, you want to join up with them? And I was like, oh, yeah, because it's a big alliance. I was thinking, oh, okay, a lot of friends, a lot of people to talk to, so there'll be a lot of things to do. But this guy was then saying, oh, I like getting to know me, like, oh, what do you do in EVE? What are some experiences you have? These kind of things. It's fun. It's like almost like a job interview. That is often how it is in corporations, at least in serious ones, or ones that are like hardcore. The one I'm in now, Brave, is not like that. They're like they're really chill and relaxed. I like that. But what happened is this guy was just talking. We were getting to know each other, and then he was like, oh, I need 800 million to know that you're serious about this corp, because I was just thinking, oh, I guess people are just going to join for spy, so it makes sense, right? You just pay them a fee so that people won't just mindlessly join, it'll make sense. And this guy was like, oh, you'll get it back within a week. And for you experienced players, you obviously know this is a clear-cut scam. But I had absolutely no clue that this was a scam, that he was trying to scam me out of my money. And that was actually the point where I was I had just recently earned my first billion, and that was actually through the old Project Discovery, the one with exoplanets. So this is the new one where you got all this like new Project Discovery stuff here. But the old one, they had like these exoplanets you had to find, and it was pretty. And I was pretty early into the game of the old Project Discovery, so I earned a lot of money because the crates, the reward crates you got from the old Project Discovery, as well as the new one, and like the first few days, you got a lot of money. So I earned my first billion through that. So I was like, yeah, I have a lot of money now. So this guy is like, oh, I need 800 million or whatever. And then I was like, oh, that's a bit too much for me. It's like almost all my money. And then he's like, oh, okay, I can make an exception. Yeah, an exception for you. You special guy, Acey-Facey. You get it for 500 million. I was like, oh, alright, sounds decent. Then he's making an exception for me, and I had no idea. Like, it makes so much sense that he just trying to bait me in by thinking that I'm like special, by giving me like a special discount. But yeah, that was just completely the opposite thing. So I gave him the money, obviously, and I was thinking, oh, okay, I'm gonna join, right? And then I'll just wait. I just sent an application. He told me, oh, send an application to this corp, whatever. And then I sent an application, and the corp I sent an application to, they're like, oh, you need to apply through our website. And then I was just like, what? This recruiter you guys have, he said that you just need to apply to you guys. So I was like, what the heck is going on? And then it just hit me that I was like, oh no, he probably scammed me. And that was not just it, okay? I lost like the 500 mil. It was not just that, it was a lot more actually. Because when he was saying that, like, because when we had this interview, he was like, oh, you seem pretty cool, I think you'll pass. So he was like saying that, oh, we were it was in Amar then. So he was saying that we have a jump freighter service where we transport all our assets to nullsec, because I mean I had some idea of nullsec, that it's hard to get there, you know, it's not the easiest way to get there. So a jump freighter services was when someone uses a jump freighter, like these really big freighters, and use these special jump drives, it makes them go from travel many systems at a time, not just like one gate to gate, but like many systems at a time. So he was like, oh, I can use this jump freighter, we got this jump freighter service who can help you get your stuff to nullsec. So I literally had contracted him almost all of my stuff, and I gave it to him. I'm guessing he probably just sold on the market. And the funny thing is, now that I think about it, it was not that much stuff I gave him, maybe like 200 mil worth of stuff, but that was like almost all my stuff. My ratting ship, I had this really boss fit like Gnosis ship that was like really good for running the anomalies in high sec, which I used to sometimes get like escalations of some sort. So it was like, for me back then, that was a big thing. And I lost more than that. I lost my mining ship, my exploration ships, everything. And I was absolutely like so pissed off the whole day. So pissed off. But I didn't give up though. That's the thing. And even like, if you don't give up, you can often learn from these experiences. And it's good, because it may seem like at first, oh, I've lost everything. But you haven't actually lost everything when you do these kind of losses, because you now hopefully have understood now how that these things exist. And it's like kind of like almost, I see it as like a part of the game, that you go through these losses to help you become back and stronger, bigger and stronger. Because from then on now, I always knew that people can scam you, and it can even seem just in any way that can involve parting your money could potentially be a scam. So to be extra careful about that. And then I also found out later that it seems like this is a very common thing, that this is like a recruiting scam, which like people, this is a very common thing that happens. And a thing that you guys should remember is that basically it'll never happen that a serious normal corp will ask for anything to join. That like for them, for most corps at least, money is not an issue. What is important for them is having like members they can rely on. Money cannot buy that. If someone really wants to infiltrate a corp, they could easily have that money to spare. So it doesn't make much sense either from their point of view to have like a kind of fee to join a corp. So just, if someone asks you for money to join a corp, never accept it and just block that guy straight away. There is basically no way that a serious corp will ask you for money. This was like I'm talking, I was 2 months old, so it was just like absolutely, it was like everything I had spent so many days grinding on was gone. Luckily, I had still a few things, because this was everything I had in Amar. Then I just took Control A, contracted everything to this guy, thinking he's gonna jump freighter it to null, but then he just took it. Luckily, I was running L3 missions or L2 missions at the time. So I mean, obviously now those L3 and L2 missions are absolute crap compared to L4. Even L4 is not that great, but it was still like an alright activity for the time, for being such a new player. And luckily I still had my cruiser, my Mauler, and I think maybe even Omen, but I'm pretty sure it was a Mauler that I ran L2 and L3 missions in. I still had that, so I was able to get back on my feet soon. And I believe even exploration for me in the beginning was a big thing, so I would often use these very cheap like frigates like Magnates, for example, and then just explore the wormholes and get loot like that. It was a pretty good way to earn some cash. And then I did a lot of factional warfare also back in the day, so I'd use these like Punisher frigates to go and take over these complexes, so I'll be able to earn some income in that way. So that's like this little story I had on how I got scammed in EVE, and I've never really been properly scammed apart from that time. Like, it's never really happened. I have once, like in the regional market, it was once had like something they were selling for like an extra 0 on the end, so I paid like 30 million for a drone that should have cost like 3 million. So that is, I guess, a scam I've fallen for. But I mean, it's not that big. That was also just because I was not even paying attention. I was just alt tabbing it through things. So let's go through. So the emerging conduits are really nice, because they give so much money from the salvage. And, you know, I've got this Salvager here as my secondary thing. Actually, these are a lot better than using salvage drones, because when I warp in at the 70-kilometer range here, then what happens is that I'm so close to the warping point, I never need to have a drone link augment. A drone link augment is a complete waste of a higher slot, because I'm always going to be so close and within drone control range. So instead, I put a salvager, and I'm able to salvage things at the same time. So this is really important, actually, not just that it speeds up the time, because if you think about it, it's not actually speeding it up, because it takes maybe like 10 minutes for a site to respawn. When I finish this site, it'll take about 10 minutes. So you'll think, oh wait, what's the point of having a salvager when you anyway have 10 minutes to just... Oh, there goes the site. So when you have already like 10 minutes to salvage everything, well, the reason is because often people will try to come in here and steal your salvage. They'll try to, like, these often destroyers, different destroyers, they'll try to just steal your salvage. And these guys, I've noticed that they often wait for now until all the hostiles are gone. The reason is because then the Triglavians can't shoot them, and you know, then they're free to just take everything while we've got not so good salvaging. But the thing is, if we are salvaging while we're doing it, then these guys are not hardly going to have anything left. Like, sometimes it's even been that I have maybe like 1 wreck left after the whole site is completed. Now, I've been talking to you guys quite a bit, so I've not been fully paying much attention to my salvages, but the salvages salvaging during the site time can both speed up and reduce the risk of people stealing, and it seems to be proving quite effective. Obviously, there are some people who are using like warp core stabilized ships, and, you know, really fast, nimble ships, and they're just able to steal them. Even if Triglavians do lock onto them, they're able to warp out, and that's true. But I have not come across so many of those people, and it seems to be working anyway so far pretty well. It's really lucky that right now that I'm doing this emerging conduit and there's no one here, because often there are quite a few people here. Like there's before the other day when I was running a lot of these, there was like a Dominix, and there was also some Rattlesnakes and Praxis. They were like all running, and I was, you know, gonna get less a lot less loot shared for me. What do you see here? These new items here, the Triglavian Sublight, Telemeter, and Transconduit Datacasters. Therefore, the new, you know, these Edencom skill books and the Edencom stuff, you can get them in the loyalty point store by exchanging these in for loyalty points. It's quite interesting. There's a particular item, this one here, which I cannot seem to get a hold of. And this is very important for the new skill books, because it can be used in the specialization skill books, but I've not been able to get it. I've been only getting these two here, you can see here. I've also got these 2v2 cruiser brawl things here, and they're dropping like absolute crazy. I want to do some of these soon, actually. I think it'll be pretty fun. So you can see here I've got quite a lot of loot already, because I had run on one of these sites before. But we can see here, if we just scroll on everything, oh, 48 mil already, so I think it was about half of that I had before, so 24 mil just from one site here. That's decent right there. Let's scoop this MTU back to cargo bay, remove mobile tractor unit, the bookmark, because, you know, we don't have bookmarks full of stuff. There's actually a limit on how many bookmarks you can have. So that was the story on how I got scammed, guys. Hope you enjoyed. This was also just some gameplay on running emerging conduits and how they could be good ISK. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later.